The Inuit have unique burial customs influenced by their harsh Arctic environment and spiritual beliefs. Traditionally, they do not bury their dead in the ground because the frozen earth makes digging graves difficult. Instead, they place the body on the surface, covering it with rocks to protect it from scavengers. This practice, known as a cairn burial, ensures that the body remains undisturbed by animals and extreme weather. In some cases, the body is placed inside a small wooden structure or left on a sled. Personal belongings of the deceased may be placed alongside the body, reflecting the belief that these items could be used in the afterlife. The Inuit traditionally believe in the presence of spirits, and certain rituals are performed to ensafe passage of the deceased into the spirit world. In the past, some Inuit groups left the body out in the open, allowing nature to take its course, a practice rooted in their deep connection to the land and environment. Modern Inuit communities, influenced by Western customs, now often use cemeteries with conventional burials. However, in remote areas, traditional methods are still practiced, maintaining their cultural heritage and adapting to the challenging Arctic conditions. Why certain burial practices are carefully followed to ensure harmony between the living and the spirit world. The Inuit believe that if the deceased is not properly respected, their spirit, known as a tarnik, may become restless and bring misfortune to the community. In some Inuit groups, a person's name is considered to hold great significance. When someone dies, their name is often passed on to a newborn in the community, symbolizing continuity and a form of reincarnation. This practice ensures that the spirit of the deceased lives on through the new generation, reinforcing the connection between past and present. During the burial, there are often minimal displays of grief, as excessive mourning is believed to disturb the spirit's journey. Instead, quiet respect and simple ceremonies are observed. Traditionally, the deceased's body may be dressed in their warmest clothing, and if they were a hunter, their tools and weapons might be placed nearby. Food or other supplies could also be left, reflecting the belief that they may need these items in the afterlife. The harsh Arctic climate has shaped Inuit burial practices for centuries. Since the ground is frozen for most of the year, digging graves is nearly impossible without modern tools. In some cases, bodies were placed in shallow pits lined with stones, or in rare instances, buried in soft tundra during the brief summer months. However, the most common method remains the use of stone cairns of simple wooden enclosures. As Inuit communities have become more influenced by Western customs and Christianity, traditional burial practices have evolved. Today, many Inuit opt for burial in designated cemeteries, often with wooden crosses marking the graves. In some places, bodies are now embalmed and placed in coffins, practices that were historically uncommon among the Inuit. Despite these changes, elements of traditional customs remain, particularly in remote areas where cultural heritage is preserved. While the method of burial may have changed over time, the deep respect the Inuit hold for their deceased remains constant. Whether through traditional cairn burials or modern graves, the emphasis on honoring the dead and maintaining spiritual balance continues to be an essential part of Inuit culture. Inuit burial traditions also reflect their strong communal values. When a person dies, the responsibility of preparing the body and the burial site often falls on family members and close community members. In small, tight-knit groups, death is not just a private loss, but a shared experience that impacts everyone. The Inuit believe in maintaining harmony within the community, and ensuring a proper burial is part of this responsibility. In some Inuit cultures, there is a practice of not speaking the name of the deceased for a period after their passing. This is done out of respect and to prevent summoning their spirit too soon. However, once a newborn is given the name, it is as if the spirit of the deceased has returned, and the name can once again be spoken freely. This practice reinforces the cycle of life and death with Inuit spiritual beliefs. In the past, during times of extreme hardship, such as periods of famine or severe weather, certain Inuit groups practiced what could be considered extreme forms of burial, including abandoning the elderly or sick, who could no longer contribute to the survival of the group. This was not done out of cruelty, but rather as a means of ensuring the survival of the larger community. Those left behind often accepted their fate with understanding, as Inuit culture places great importance on the well-being of the group over the individual. The connection between Inuit burial practices and their environment cannot be overstated. The Arctic landscape dictates how bodies can be handled, and the lack of traditional burial materials, such as wood for coffins, means that Inuit have always had to adapt their customs to the realities of their surroundings. Even today, in remote areas where modern cemeteries are not accessible, Inuit continue to rely on their ancestors' methods of using stone, ice, and natural elements for burials. As Inuit communities continue to evolve and integrate with modern society, some traditions have been modified or lost. However, many Inuit still strive to preserve their cultural heritage by teaching younger generations about traditional beliefs and practices. Whether through storytelling, community ceremonies, or maintaining traditional burial customs, the Inuit continue to honor their ancestors and their deep-rooted respect. The Inuit also have rich oral traditions that play a crucial role in how they remember and honor their dead. Stories of ancestors, elders, and great hunters are passed down through generations, keeping their memory alive. These stories not only preserve history, but also serve as moral lessons, teaching younger Inuit about survival, resilience, and the importance of community. In this way, even if a person's physical body is gone, their presence remains within the stories and wisdom they leave behind. Another significant aspect of Inuit burial customs is their belief in the afterlife. While specific beliefs vary among different Inuit groups, many hold that the spirit of the deceased continues its journey to another world. Some believe in a multi-layered spirit world, where the fate of the soul depends on how the person lived their life. For example, those who lived honorably and followed the traditions of their people were thought to go to a peaceful place filled with abundance, while those who broke cultural taboos might experience a more challenging afterlife. Traditional shamans, known as ngakuk, once played a key role in guiding the spirits of the dead. These spiritual leaders would perform rituals to ensure the safe passage of the soul and to protect the living from restless spirits. They also communicated with spirits to seek guidance and help maintain harmony between the living and the dead. Although Christianity has influenced many Inuit communities and the role of shamans has diminished, some elements of these spiritual beliefs still persist in Inuit culture. In more recent times, Inuit burial practices have continued to adapt. The introduction of modern infrastructure, such as funeral homes and cemeteries, has made Western-style burials more common, especially in larger settlements. However, due to the remote nature of many Inuit communities, traditional burials, using stone cairns or wooden enclosures, are still practiced in areas where modern facilities are unavailable. In addition to burial practices, Inuit mourning customs also reflect their deep respect for the dead and their belief in maintaining harmony between the spirit world and the living. Mourning periods vary among different Inuit groups, but traditionally, there is an emphasis on quiet reflection rather than loud expressions of grief. Excessive mourning is often discouraged, as it is believed that it could prevent the spirit from moving on peacefully. Instead, family members honor the deceased by continuing their traditions, sharing their stories, and in some cases, carrying out their unfinished work. One unique aspect of Inuit mourning is the practice of isolation or temporary withdrawal from normal activities. In some communities, close family members of the deceased may choose to spend time away from others, either in solitude or with a small group, to process their loss and show respect. This practice is not only a way to grieve, but also a means of allowing the transition between life and death to take place without interference. Music and song also play a role in Inuit remembrance of the dead. Traditional Inuit songs, often composed by family members or community elders, serve as a way to express emotions and preserve memories. These songs, sometimes performed during memorial gatherings, celebrate the life of the deceased and their contributions to the community. In some cases, throat singing, an ancient form of Inuit musical expression, is used as a way to honor the spirit of the departed